Hello, viewers and listeners. We are live and welcome to the Seven Cities Shoptalk Sports Show, broadcasting from the beautiful state of Virginia to you all over the world. I am your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and we are the Seven Cities Shoptalk Sports team. We actually have a full jam-packed show. Had a little break last week, coming right back at you with some more information. Looks like we got a few little widgets here at the bottom. There you can see we got a poll. Who you think is going to be the player of the game for the spring game, either Peyton Lewis or Bo Prabula. We want to know who you think is going to be the player of the game for the spring game. We'll get into that as well. I will have some of my hosts come up as well for this show. But we got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to give you the rundown here in a second. But first, we want to thank you for joining us another episode of our brand of dysfunctional camaraderie. And as of now, this shop is open. I'm your host, Big Law Lawrence Johnson, and we're ready to jump in and kind of speak about what we feel or what we see is going on. And we're going to have some discussions about it right now. But let me go and give you the rundown. So right now we're going to talk about, number one, like I said earlier, the spring game. The spring game is this Saturday, and I believe it's at 4 o'clock, 3:30. Well, my time, I'm going to get there probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30, so that, just for media, just got to get there, get settled, and be ready to go for that game, and we're going to speak about it, with my team here, because there is a lot to talk about with the spring game and what we should expect. We'll also talk about the final discussion, I believe. We'll talk about Chandler Morris and kind of where we think the team is post. This is going to be kind of like the fallout from his situation and where we are moving forward with the program at the most important position on the field. We'll also talk about both men's and men's basketball and men's in football. They have the best winning percentage, top 3 in the nation. So we've seen a lot of winning from the University of Virginia, top 2 men's sports, and I think we need to have a discussion about that. That's a little bit of a rarity seen coming from I think both of our programs at this point. Maybe we didn't expect either to happen, but we're actually maybe a little bit of a golden age where we, or maybe somewhere where we didn't expect this much success this early, but we do have it. We'll also get into Coach Odom. Oh, before we get to Coach Odom, we'll talk about Coach Elliott's contract extension as well, and what that means for the University of Virginia and Coach Elliott and the program, and what that means from stability standpoint. And then we'll get into Coach Odom and the masterful job of what Coach Odom has done with retaining all of his players who actually have eligibility. We'll get into that and talk about Coach Odom and the great job that he's done. And we'll also get into women's basketball with Coach Aaron. I believe it's Rousel, I believe that's how it's pronounced. We'll talk about him and what he has coming from Central Virginia, coming from Richmond. Very successful program. And, if there's anything else we need to say about, the last situation, we can talk about that as well. But like I said before, the shop is open. So let's go ahead and just drop right into the spring game. The spring football game starts this weekend. And, and as I can tell you, that the game is this weekend. I'm really excited, and I'm just trying to get you the correct time because I don't want you guys showing up way too early. But, it's okay to get there too early because, remember, we tailgate. We have a good time when we tailgate and have a really good time out there as well. It's an absolute opportune time to feel that feeling we felt, being that we won 11 games, and most of the games at home we won, and always had something really fun and important lined up to go to during the week. It's always a different feeling, a great feeling when you're going to something and your team is has a really good opportunity to win the game. And that's what University of Virginia has has been this season. And a lot of people did not think that University of Virginia was going to be one of these teams in the ACC to win as many games as they did. For me, I kind of felt like I called 8-9 wins in the beginning of the year, and I want to say it was 9. And I had no idea that the University of Virginia was going to be a team to win as many games as they did. Before I keep going, make sure down here there is a poll. Make sure you put down there in the poll who you think is going to be the player of the game for out of those two players for the spring game coming up this weekend. But back to the team. We did not think, and no one could tell me that UVA was going to win that many games this year. Number one, it's the most games they've ever won in a football season, which to me makes this one of the opportunities. When you get an opportunity to have success like this, you got to capitalize on it. And I think that they're capitalizing on it right now. I look at the roster and I feel like, excuse me, when I look at the roster, I feel like this roster is even more talented than they were last year. And I'm not saying that just because he won 11 games. I'm not saying that just because, I think UVA, tends to outplay, their talent. That's what a lot of people were saying. They kind of played up, and maybe the talent wasn't as great, which was a bunch of BS at this point, because they actually showed that they have a ton of talent, because there's a lot of players that are coveted from the University of Virginia, and also there are some players that are gonna have an opportunity to get drafted from this roster. And also, shout out to the coaches. The coaches did one hell of a job. And I mean one hell of a job coaching these kids up. Now, you don't get to where you're getting to with the program without the coaches and the talent evaluators getting the kids to cooperate and getting the systems to work together, getting the kids to work in a system without that much cooperation and all that leadership from the coaches not working together. Also, keep in mind, the defense with Coach Rudd and what Coach Rudd was able to do was really stellar. Had a lot of injuries as well. Let's not leave that out. This program even won more games than they ever had, won 11 games, had a ton of injuries. And I mean injuries, season-ending injuries. It wasn't like, one important guy, bruised his shoulder, was out for a game or two. Okay. No, we had a guy, the best lineman in the portal 2 years ago, tore his knee up, didn't even play all year. We had 2 cornerbacks, starting quality cornerbacks. Both have leg injuries, and both didn't play for all of the last year. And we didn't have them. Of course, we did have some issues in the passing game on the defensive end from the defensive backside end until the team started to gel a little bit, and the players got on the back end got a little bit more solidified and started to play together. But there are some players that didn't even play that are coming back that I think are going to be some difference makers. So we're going to have, offensive tackle and offensive guard guys coming back that we didn't get a chance to check out. The defensive backs on the back end, we got 2 guys coming in that didn't even play last year. They're going to be able to play this year. I'm looking at this squad as probably and possibly a better team than we had last year. Not to mention that every offensive lineman that is coming back has extensive playing time, whether it was here or another school. And we're going to have a lot of experience on that front line. And I think that they want to make themselves like one of the most dominant offensive lines. I get that feeling They want this team to run behind the offensive line and protect the quarterback as well. They did a great job last year of having a 1,000-yard rusher and a couple other great running backs, Harrison and and X Xavier had those guys running really well behind them. But I think they're going to be even better this year. The offensive line is going to be better, And as I go on into the offensive line and how good they're going to be and how many starters we have coming back, a whole starting five pretty much, or with starting talent or starting minutes coming back. Let's not forget about, as we talk about this, the running backs room. We got two guys coming in, I believe one from UAB who's going to be kind of a scat back slot returner kind of a guy, and another guy, I believe from Middle Tennessee State, who's going to be the kind of a scat back as well, really quick running back. And then, of course, I think the crown jewel, and I mean the crown jewel of one of the crown jewels of the Hall in the offseason, and that's Peyton Lewis. And I think Peyton Lewis, who is a big, fast, strong running back, played in the SEC last year, from the state of Virginia, came home, wanted to, I guess get some of that home cooking. And I know Virginia had Jackie Franchuli on, who is an incredible insider who really knows and has her ear to the ground when it comes to Virginia sports. She said that as soon as he was in the portal, within hours, he had a visit planned with the University of Virginia. And so we knew that Virginia really had their eye on Peyton as soon as he entered the portal, and probably before that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does this year coming up, and hopefully during the spring game, really trying to get an idea of what he's going to look like, big, fast, and a specialty talent. The wide receivers, I think, are a little bit of a mystery. I know we're going to have, Cam, Courtney, and a few other guys coming back. But to me, they're a little bit of a mystery. And I want to see how they're going to respond, as a receiver room. Let me keep this in mind, too. I don't think they're done. I don't think that they're done at adding receiving talent. I think they're going to wait to see what comes about from the spring game and see if receiver is somewhere they possibly need to go. And what I mean by that, you can have a player from another school or a player who's out there maybe walk on, to the program and be one of these players, and maybe they, magically come up with some kind of an NIL, to bring him in. Don't think that Virginia or any other school won't try to, to make something happen, make something work like that. But this spring game, to me, looks like it's going to be a very fun and interesting event. I'm looking forward to it, really looking forward to it, because I really want to see what the quarterbacks look like with Bo Pribula coming in. And, he's from Missouri, which is in the SEC. Sure, they were a run-heavy team, had one of the best running backs in the conference, as I think we will too. But the kid can really sling the ball. He can also run. Had a lot of yards rushing as well. So he's a really big, athletic kid. Maybe has some of that Chandler in him, but he's just a bigger version as well. And but I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to offer. Not to mention also our guy from Pitt, the backup from Pitt, who is another player who was a starter before injury. Then he lost his job to the freshman, and the freshman went crazy at Pitt, and he never got his job back. So let's just, sit back and enjoy what we see here from this team on the offensive end. Offensive line looks great. Running back room looks great. A little bit of a mystery, or a mystery period in the wide receiver room, but the tight ends. I'm really excited about the tight ends coming in and what they're going to offer. We may run a lot of that 12 formation, one running back, two tight ends. And I think that we're going to really try to lean on folks with that offensive line, sideline to sideline or hash to hash, however you want to call it. And it's all Virginia offensive linemen and tight ends just really ruling the middle of the field and mashing people. I would love to see that with all of our running backs. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to leave out our running back that we have coming back. We have Xavier coming back, Brown. We're going to have Noah coming back, and we're going to have a freshman that ran in the bowl game, who actually did really well also. So we're going to have some talent, guys, at those positions. And also, we need talent and we need bodies at the running back position, because we know how running backs get banged up so much in this new age of football that we're in. So we do need to run some by committee, or maybe all by committee, and just keep everybody fresh, which is what they did to a degree this past fall as well. So let's give it up. Let's give some kudos to what this coaching staff has done as far as bringing talent in, getting everyone on board and everybody up to speed. No one thought that this team was going to be what it was. This last fall, and they have just done a hell of a job. I think they've done it again. And I don't fear that I don't fear the schedule or anyone's roster, really. So I really want to see what they have to offer this coming up year. So let's just want to get a roll call. You guys want to throw in, if you're going to the spring game, let me know. Well, with a hey, I'm going, or a thumbs up, or whatever. Let me know if you're going to the spring game this weekend. Also, on the left side of the screen there, I have a poll. Peyton Lewis or Pribula, who's going to be the player of the game this weekend as well. But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the Coach Elliott, that is, the coach's contract, the extension he got from the University of Virginia. Now, I know some folks did not like what Coach Elliott was producing, and that you are definitely warranted with your opinion on that for the first 3 years. And his record was abysmal. And I know we had a tragedy. We got to also account for the tragedy that was in there. But once we got past that, it seems like things were turning into the right direction, with them almost becoming bowl eligible and only losing by so much 2 years ago. With 5 wins, should have had 7 or 8 wins, in that year. But lost games at the end of the game, and that's kind of what this team has had learned from. Obviously, based off of last year, turning all those losses into wins. I think we had 4 wins, 3 of them in overtime. And, it was something that we kind of, didn't expect, but it did give us great drama and great excitement going into every end of the fourth quarter when we had an overtime game. But having 11 wins, the most wins ever, Coach Elliott earns himself a contract extension. Now, what does that mean for the program? Let's speak about it. Was Coach Elliott deserving of a extension? I will answer that quite and plain and frankly and just say yes. I think he did. I think when you're at a school, and maybe we won't have to use the term like Virginia in front of any state, in front of a statement before. Whenever you're in a work or follow a school like Virginia, typically football is not the first thing that comes to mind, right? The football program. That's not the first thing that you think of when you talk about, Virginia sports. But I think that they're trying to change that narrative based off of how much money they spent on the roster, first of all, and how they're not afraid to go into the portal and grab talent, offer lucrative deals, or they just signed a gentleman to actually run all of the NIL to go get deals, for the school and for students to earn NIL money. So they're all in on that, and they've been all in on this, strong, for about 2 years now, maybe a little bit more than 2 years. And I'm excited to see where they go from here. But Coach Elliott getting his extension, it was well deserved. To win that many games and to pull out of the adversity that was in the first part of his tenure, at University of Virginia, I got to give him credit for that, and it is well deserved. And hey, he may have a tougher time. The team may be better. I think they're going to be better this year. I think the team honestly is going to be a better football team, and they may the record they may not win. To win 11 games again is absolutely crazy. For any team to win that, whether you're in Alabama, you're at Vanderbilt, or you're at Virginia, to win 11 games is absolutely insane. But I don't know if they'll win 11 games this year, but I think the team is going to be better. The defense, the defensive players that they brought in are animals. And the defensive line, defensive end situation could be better. They brought in like 5 defensive ends, and then you return. I said the crown jewel on offense was Peyton Lewis, but we had a returning crown jewel in my man Cam, the man in the middle, who is someone that is a pro outside linebacker, talent-wise, and a big-time playmaker. Had 2 returns for touchdowns off of interceptions. Kid has great hands, great instincts. He's a great sideline-to-sideline player, and he's also like a real big chess piece for Coach Redzick, because you never know what Cam can do. Cam can do it all. Rush the passer, play the middle, read and react to the run. He can also play coverage. He can cover tight ends, zone. I mean, the kid can do it all, and he's shown how many times he's been a great rusher when you rush him off the end or up the middle. The kid can do it all. And having him back is a really big deal, because it really gives Coach Rudd that chess piece that you can move around that you can't account for when you're an offensive coordinator. Then the defensive backs that are coming back. I think the defensive backfield, even though we've lost Neal and we've lost Clary, which Clary had a tough year last year, but I think the defensive backfield could be better on the outsides. Because I know if there was a weakness on the team from time to time, it was or shaky a little bit here and there, was on the outsides at the cornerback position. I think now we're going to be sturdy on the outside, as far as coverage goes, and we're going to be really tough up middle. Then we're going to just bring some heat. We're going to get some heat on the quarterback. We have some big, strong guys who are used to getting after the quarterback and really getting pressure. It got a lot of minutes under the belt. That's one thing that this coaching staff has really went for. They went with players who has had a good measure of success and where the school that they came from, and also they wanted some guys from some caliber programs. So I'm really excited to see what this defense does. In addition to, you give Coach Rudd some of these weapons. Who knows where we can be, because he has some of these exotic blitzes, where you have guys coming from all over different positions, and you think somebody's staying, and then they blitz on you, and vice versa. Really can confuse a quarterback on any given night or any given day. So really excited about that. But Coach Elliott, I think he deserves it. I think it, in a place like where we are, to have that opportunity to extend it. And I think we have until 2030, I believe. So good for him. And just keep running the program the way that he is. And, they on an upward trajectory. And, I'm not afraid of anybody on the schedule. Let's bring it on and let's get started. But rolling to the next topic, how about the winning percentages of the football program, which I just talked about, 11 wins, and the basketball program, 30 wins, 31 wins, 30 wins. So if you add those percentages together, only maybe they're top 3 in the nation with programs that has won that many programs from your top 2 men's programs in college sports. Think about that. We've never seen that at Virginia. We've never seen 11 wins for sure, right? And then we've never seen that and basketball win 30 games at one time. So let's give it up, give some kudos to the to the basketball and football programs. Let me get my applause going here. That is something that we all have to kind of, give it up for and kind of get an idea of, kind of pushing the mind of, what should we expect the following year. I just talked about football, spring games here, what's coming up, and what to look for. But the basketball program, Coach Odom, in this era of NIL, transfer portal, to retain every player who had eligibility on his roster and bringing them back, that's unheard of. Most of the time, you're going to have a player or two or three or all of them leave a program and try, and see what they can get when it comes to money, funding, something that can lure them away from another program, something to get them to come to another program. Coach Odom and the basketball staff and the NIL team has retained all of the players who had eligibility. They want, and I love those videos that they did. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. All the players who were on scholarship and had eligibility are back. And let's see how they run. They run the same system. I'm really interested to see what Coach Odom brings in. You got to replace Malik Thomas. You got to replace Dallin Hall. You got to replace Ogun. You got to replace Oyinso. You got to replace him. So you got some holes, and you got to replace my man, the sharpshooter. You know what I mean, Jakari. So you got some players that you're gonna have to replace. And I know at this point he's gonna go in for some guys who can, number one, get their own shot, and he's gonna be looking for some straight gunners. Because outside of Dallin Hall, all those guys are really offensive wizards. And also you're gonna need a defensive wizard to take the place of Oyinso. So I'm looking forward to seeing who's gonna come to the University of Virginia, who's gonna visit the grounds and figure out, maybe this is, the place to be. One of my good friends, Scott German, had made a statement on this show at the beginning of the year, and he had said having an NIL process, having or opportunity, having a transfer portal, you may have just awakened a sleeping giant in Virginia, because Virginia can actually use their funds, use their money, raise their money, however, to get whatever players they want that fits their system, that's going to fit here on the grounds as a great student athlete. And that's what, in my opinion, is really, really interesting. And Virginia has never been a school that has, had problems with funding or money. The issue was not the issue was, I'll say issue, but the question was, would they spend it or not? One thing I will say, they're spending money, not just on players, but if you go to the grounds and you look up and you see all these cranes up on the grounds everywhere, they are actually building facilities all over. And yes, all of them aren't for sports, but they are building a lot around the sports programs at the University of Virginia, and have invested a lot of money in the University of Virginia's programs, and they're going to continue to do this. And I think it's a great thing. Remember, if you're not growing, you're shrinking. And Virginia is on the up and up for sure. And I got to give a shout out to Carla and the squad and the investors and the teams. They have done a hell of a job, a great job of putting together packages and putting together things that make that have shown and have made the investors feel comfortable, so that they can open up those purse strings and continue to develop the grounds and make a world-class environment and experience for these student athletes to want to come to the University of Virginia. So great job. And speaking of that, just an off question here. I know a lot of you folks went to see Luke Combs, and the pictures were amazing. I meant to put that in the marquee on the things to talk about, but pictures were amazing. I got to give it up to whoever you folks are taking these pictures and getting us these great shots at the concert. Good God Almighty. All those people in that stadium was a beautiful sight. I will have to say that. And it was a great, it looked like it was a great environment. Everybody looked like they was enjoying themselves. The tops were filled. The top ring was full of fans, and naturally they put on a great show. All of them, all of the performers there, and we can do this. That's one thing that, me looking at all the videos and watching all the looking at all the pictures. I'm like, we can do this. If the Luke Combs concert can sell out the stadium that easily, I mean, it wasn't like it was hard to sell that stadium out. He's a megastar, country megastar, and he came to Central Virginia and blew the doors off of Scott Stadium. I didn't feel like it was too hard to do. Once the announcement was made, people had been buying tickets and people were scrambling at the end. In the beginning, they were buying tickets like crazy, and then they were scrambling at the end. So to try to get there, and I know that the nightmare, the traffic was a nightmare, but let's hope that the University of Virginia and the city of Charlottesville works on some more infrastructure to help with traffic getting on and off the grounds. But it looked like it was an amazing scene. It was like it was an amazing concert. And shout out to Luke Combs and all the crew and the University of Virginia for putting this event on. And from what I understand, this is what they want to do. They want to have more events at Scott Stadium. How about it? And it doesn't matter to me. You make Virginia, get fans comfortable with coming to the stadium, and all of a sudden, and then you're winning. People will say, "Hey, we went to saw Luke Combs. Let's go see the football team." Sure, they're playing a team that they should win against, but let's go there anyway. That's how you start to get that synergy of people coming and getting used to coming back onto the grounds like we used to have. And that's what I want, and that's what I've seen. So seeing that, thank you folks for sending in those pictures and videos of what the stadium was like and the environment and how people just had a good time together and what it could be like as well. And the football team did a great job of bringing fans back, winning as many games as they did. A lot of fans they want to see if it's real. They wanted to see if it was, they won so many games, will they win the next one? Will they win the one after that? They're waiting for the rug to get pulled out from under them to see if it was a hoax or not. Was the UVA football team really that good? I will say the Florida State game got like the field rush of the year. I think that was an independent poll. That right there was an indication that this team was different, and this program is headed somewhere a lot of places haven't been to in this part of the woods. And Virginia having that kind of an environment where they're rushing the field the way that they did, it was exhilarating. Of course, in the press box, you can't really show your excitement, but I can tell you like this, my eyes was like, oh my goodness. I said, that was probably one of the most epic field rushes. Not even one of the most. It was. Let's call it what it is. It was the most epic field rush I'd ever seen, second to the one when they beat Virginia Tech for the first time, when Bronco Mendenhall and the squad beat Virginia Tech. That was the second most epic rush that I've seen. But that rush right there, and then the advent of kids videoing, everybody running onto the field and watching, the reactions of everybody. It was great. It was absolutely phenomenal. But good on, the programs and where they're going. Like I said, both men's basketball and men's football, one of the top 3 schools in the nation in the P4 era, Power 4 era, with this past year with the highest winning percentage, top 3. Great job, man. Great job, University of Virginia, coaching staff, support staff, leadership, sports leadership, everybody. And I'm looking forward more. So this is going to be, hey, this is a one and done kind of a fluke opportunity. Nope. I want to see more. We got to be more consistent. Let's see what happens this coming up football season. But it starts this Saturday with the spring game. If anybody's out there who has a spring game time, I want to say it was 4:30. Make sure you get there early. Okay, remember they're gonna have a auction, memorabilia auction, so you got to get there early as well. I will be there early, and I will kind of see where it all shakes out. But I'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, this is an exciting time to be a University of Virginia sports fan, especially when Coach Odom can return that many players from his roster, the only ones who were eligible to return, and he got them all back. And then I want to see who else he snags out of the portal. What other players are truly considering coming to the University of Virginia to play basketball? See if we can get another high 20s team wins, kind of a team. Can we hit that 30 mark again? Coming in your first year, winning 30 games. What can Coach Odom say? Except, I want to try it again. Let's do it again. And there's something going on. There's something, like they say out here in Hampton Roads, there's something in the water. There's something in the water with Coach Odom. And maybe, this is a great segue to Coach Aaron Rosell, the coach. I believe it's Rosell, if somebody can correct me. But I believe Coach Aaron of the women's basketball program, maybe they can strike lightning again and get another basketball coach, pluck them out of Central Virginia, out of the capital of the state, out of Richmond, not VCU, but Richmond Spiders, Lady Spiders, and maybe we can duplicate what they did last year, another Sweet 16, or, at least, again, get to the big dance, which he's, used to getting to the big dance with Richmond. Now with Virginia's resources for sports, maybe they can do it, and maybe he can do it again. It looks like there was a young lady who committed. I didn't get all her information, but we already have had, one of the players who have committed. And I know that Kamora is out there, and I think she visited today or yesterday with Coach Dawn Staley. And I know they want to get her back, to the program. But if she doesn't want to come back, thank you, Kamora Johnson, for what you've done for the program to get them to where they are. So if you leave, God bless you. And, hopefully everything works out for you in your favor. We'll always be rooting for you, but we really love to have you back. I think that this coach, number one, he seems like a really good guy, really nice guy with a lot of success. He has a lot of what we call pelts on the wall. He's had a lot of success. So let's give him a really good chance. Let's see what he has to offer this program. And I think is a good hire. But this is 3 hires right now for Carla in the women's program. So let's see how this shakes out. But I think this is a really good hire. And I think he knows how to recruit really well as well. And maybe they can put together another run in the ACC and bring in some kids, some young ladies from some other programs that people maybe didn't want to come to Virginia. Maybe they want to come now. Maybe they want to come now, especially with the way that UVA is supplying NIL contracts. And there's going to be some minutes out there as well, which is what a lot of players want most of the time. They want minutes. They want to be able to play. And I'm really interested in seeing what Coach Aaron's basketball style is. I haven't done any research on the University of Richmond Lady Spiders style of play. So I'll get an opportunity to check them out and do a little scouting and see what they run and see if it was hopefully, they can get the talent to match his coaching style. But yes, this is like I said before earlier, a great time to be a University of Virginia fan. But if you're looking at the screen here, make sure you throw some comments in if you like. Also, right here, this is a poll because we do have the spring game this Saturday. Peyton Lewis or Bo Pribula, who's gonna be Pribula? I think it's Bo Pribula or Pribula. Who's gonna be the player of the game out of those two guys? I'm gonna pick Peyton Lewis because he was the one who I felt was the one that they had to get, not only in name but just a local state kid or a state kid. I say local, a state kid who, in my opinion, should have never left the state of Virginia. To play for an SEC team, and hey, playing for an SEC team, there's something to say for that. And scoring as many touchdowns as he did as the third running back for Tennessee, that's saying a lot. But I think here he's going to get the run of the bulk of the carries in that running back room, and he has a lot of talent. He's a big kid, 6 feet, 6'1", 212, 215-ish, two-time 55-meter champion, 100-meter champ, state champ, ton of speed, a lot of power. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, and hopefully, knock on wood and everything else that goes with that, all the young men who play Saturday come out healthy. That's the most important piece. In addition to getting the work in and getting some competition in, but it's also, we'll pray that they come out healthy as well. So I'm really excited. I'll be there. Hopefully I'll see some of you folks, my viewers and listeners out there, and we can chop it up and talk shop when we get there. Let me know if you guys are going to go to the equipment auction, or when they have the clothes or the helmets and all the different gear for sale out there. That's always a big deal. I've gotten some stuff from way back in the day. When I say way, I'm talking like 10 years ago, when they were doing it, and got me a few helmets, a few jerseys. It's always really cool when they do that. They want to purge the equipment room of old stuff and turn it into money, because it really turns into memorabilia for this school. But I can tell you that this has been a fun year so far. Men's baseball doing good. I know one thing: the Coach O at Mississippi State is having a hard time where he is, and I'm so glad to have our coach what we have right now. And they're a little up and down, but they win as well. They got one thing about Virginia, man. They got some bats, man. These kids can play some baseball, and the girls softball team, they started off really hot, and looking forward to seeing what they can put together as well from programs. But shout out to the women's diving team. They did it again. Swim team did it again. Another national championship. Just another one for the mantle for the University of Virginia sports programs. And I know that they are, right now, Virginia is one of the top programs, as they always are, with, I can't remember what the cup is called off the top of my head, but it's kind of, it's like a President's Cup thing where, we have the most wins for the year when it comes to all of your sports. But UVA is in the running for that. I think North Carolina, they win it a lot of times, and UVA isn't quite as close as I think they used to be, but doesn't matter. These programs are kicking butt, and what a better place to come than the University of Virginia to get number one, your education, and you can go anywhere with that degree, but also come here for the sports experience. They are getting there. They are making it an environment that I think Coach Elliott had made the statement of, you can come here and we have world-class facilities. We can say that now. This school, this grounds, they have world-class facilities here now, and they're building more. They have more coming, and they're winning more games than ever at this point. What a time to be a state of Virginia supporter, follower, student athlete. This could be in a golden age if they win. If they go on a kind of a winning kind of a situation like they did this past year, and continuing this year, we're probably entering a golden age of what University of Virginia sports could truly be with this NIL. Until they kind of lock it down and figure out, how many times you could transfer, and then they'll probably lock down how much money, how much, put a cap on. You can't pay the kids with so much, all this and that. Virginia is really going to be successful, I believe, in getting talent, maintaining talent, and just keep on pushing for better things for the school and for the programs. Just got to keep giving a shout out to the leadership at for the University of Virginia, all the sports leadership that's going on and putting in a incredible job week in and week out up there on the grounds. But yeah, I will say this, along with, the spring game I said is this Saturday. The weekend after that, I have a baseball camp in Richmond. And if you guys, and it's for underprivileged youth, and it's a Christian baseball camp. We give the kids a glove, a ball. We outfit them, we feed them, and we are doing that on the 25th of this month. And if you feel like one of these young men or ladies could benefit from coming out, hanging out with some really good, wholesome people, and also learn about baseball and learn about the spirit, please come on out and hang out with us, man. And we'd love to have you. I will be the main or the head coach, kind of in the middle. We're going to teach 9 basic skills of baseball, and we're going to be rotating each section. We're going to put the kids together by age and color and shirt colors, so that we won't lose any of them, first of all, but also just to gauge, this age group stays together, this age group stays together, and so on and so forth. And I want to say we're at ages 5 to 15-ish, somewhere inside of there. But, it's a great event. Come on out, hang out. Even if you just want to come hang out and, and kind of see what it's about. And if you, like I said, if you have a youngster who could possibly learn or could benefit from just being out with us and hanging out with us and hanging out with good people, we feed you as well. We feed the youngsters as well. We have the word at lunch, and they leave with a lot more than they came with. I would tell you that we fill them up. We try to fill their spirits, with the goodness, and we also we feed their bellies. They feed them up, and then we give them a whole bunch of cool things to take with them. It's a true, like a baseball glove, a ball. We give them, shout out to Amy Hitt and Getz Law for being part of that, and they're also Amy just being a help and a contributor, sponsor for us as well, for that event. And that's just something I have to put out there. I will probably say some more things about that event coming up during the week, but yeah, next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday after the spring game in Richmond, and it's right outside of Henrico County. And I'll get you, if you guys, anyone interested, I will get the actual location of where we will be, where we will have the event at. But it's right outside Henrico, right past. It's one of the sporting complexes right outside Henrico, right past or right by the airport. You guys, give me a second. I can possibly find this for you and get it. But it's a really great event. Been doing it for 15 years. 15 years, and it's it's an incredible event. And the kids, they come with more than they came with. It's at the Oak Avenue complex. If anybody knows where that is, it's the Oak Avenue complex in Highland Springs, Virginia. That's where we will be, and that's where we'll have this really cool event this year. Any kids that you feel could benefit from this event, and we have mentors on staff. We'll have support. It's co-ed, so it's boys and girls, and we're gonna have support staff on call as well, or right there, to help support some kids. I've like I said, used to be one of the hitting coaches. I've done it since the beginning. And believe it or not, every kid that comes there may not be there for the baseball. I've been just a quick story as I close out the show here, but I've had to take some time out because I had a young man who was really acting out, was really not trying to follow any of the instructions that all the other kids were doing. We're teaching them how to swing the bat, teaching them how to get in the, set their feet in the box, how to have a nice level swing, keep your eye on the ball, all that. Had the tees, whole bunch of tees set up for the kids to practice their swing. But this young man wanted to just pick a bat up and just start swinging the bat, just start swinging the bat without, us instructing him to swing, and to get in, he was walking around. It's like, okay, that is the biggest hazard in the world. We have a young man, a little kid out here swinging a bat. Last thing you need is for a young child to get hit in the head with a bat. So naturally, I had to go over there and be like, okay, yeah, hey, young man, what's going on? Everything all right? He was, really letting out his frustrations based off of, talking with him and what he had going on. I told my assistant at my station, I said, hey, take over. I had actually had a few assistants. I said, you guys go ahead and take over, and I had to take this young man to the side and just spend some time with him. I got on a knee and just started speaking with him about, what's going on? Why are you upset? I just let him know, first of all, why he can't be swinging the bat just wildly around. And then he was just explaining how frustrated he was and how unhappy he was, but he didn't have an outlet. The young man didn't have an outlet. So, I got on my knee and I sat and I talked with him for about a good 10 minutes just to try to figure out what was happening with him. So we have a lot of counselors and mentors there as well, that really speak to the, to speak to kids that are troubled as well. And that's what it's for. It's for kids who could need something like this. And I spent some time speaking with him. And then when we were done speaking, I walked him over to one of our counselors, at the registration table, and they began talking with him. And by the time they were done, I had to get back to my station. The young man was sitting down. He was cool. He was calm. Had him his Capri Sun, and he just, I felt like the young man had got a relief that he hadn't had, or this outlet that he hadn't had for some time, because he was having a moment and he was spazzing out and swinging the bat, and it was like he needed attention. He wanted, and he was frustrated. He did not know how to, he didn't know how to react. But that's what this baseball camp is about. It's not always just for kids who want to learn how to play from the inner city, or kids who are unfortunate, disenfranchised, all that. It's for all of those kind of kids, but also for some kids that may be having some emotional issues and need an outlet other than just, running the streets or not having anything else to do around their home. Maybe they need to come with minded young folks, play a little sports, sweat a little bit, learn about the spirit, and learn about baseball. We feed them, we take care of them. And that's an event that I've been doing for some time, and I love it. And I will always do it as long as God gives me the breath and the power and the energy to do it. And it means a lot to me. And it means a lot to a lot of these young people who come and have not who have not had enough support. So we're here to support those young folks and to and see what we can do to help make their lives better in a short period of time that we have them. So, but if you guys have any questions or interested in that, just send me a message. Or if you want to help support the camp, this is our 15th year, 16th year doing it. Just send me a message. I'll let you know. I'm one of the, I'm not the founder. I'm one of the kind of quasi co-founders. The gentleman who started was Larry Belcher. He had came to me the next day when he had this idea put on his heart and his spirit. And he said, I think I want to do a baseball camp for inner city kids, or for kids that are disenfranchised, or for youth that need help with things other than just than what they see, on TV or on their phones or whatever. And he came to me, and after that, I was on board, and we have been growing this thing for 15 years plus. So, but it's a great thing to do, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And It's going to be a great event. And we have some pre-registrations going on right now. You can go online and check it out, the Spirit of Baseball. And I'm going to be there with the megaphone, my stopwatch, ready to rock and roll, my whistle. And we going to get this thing popping, you guys. But first of all, I got to thank all of you for hanging in there and chilling with me for my show tonight. I know I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I get excited when I talk about my baseball camp coming up at the end of the month. But remember, spring game first. Spring game is this Saturday. Make sure you get there early. You do not want to be caught, okay? Not ready for the spring game. I think that this team is going to be better. I'm looking forward to seeing this spring game. I think we're going to be even more physical. I think this team is going to be better. Only thing that I really have a question about with this team is the wide receiver room. I got questions about the wide receiver room and who to look for and how much talent we lost last year and what we have coming in this year. Okay, so that's what's on my mind. So with that being said, I thank all of you for hanging out, spending some time with me. Like I said, if you catch me out there, come and say hi to me. I will be out around Scott Stadium before the game, and I may be roaming around the stadium. Just come and say hello, tap me on the shoulder, bump into me, whatever. Just say hi, and I'll chop it up with you, and maybe even buy you a T-shirt, But this is Big Law signing off. I appreciate and love every single one of you folks for hanging out with me and spending some time. But as of now, this shop is closed. Thank you again. And if you got any questions about the Spirit of baseball camp, just let me know, and we'll and we'll get you straight. And you guys, we'll give you some information about where it is, how it's done, and how you can participate as well. And if you got some youngsters, they are more than welcome to come and hang out. We give them a glove, a ball, a Bible, we feed them, we give them an outfit, a hat, and a shirt, and non-basic skills. We make them sweat a little bit, we run them around a little bit, and then we have the word at lunch, and it's just a great environment for everybody. But I got to thank all of you, like I said, love all of you for the support. Can't do it without you. Been a while for me as well doing this, and I will keep going as long as you guys need me. But thanks again, and I'll be back with you. This is Big Law signing out. 7 Cities Shop Talk Sports. We will be at you. Thank you. Wahoo wah, and I will see you guys this weekend. Bye-bye.